Hi, I am Doc LQJ, and welcome to this short segment of Doc LQJ Speaks. During this segment, I'll talk about a theory that I intend to introduce, and you guys are some of the first. When I say some of, a couple of other people have benefited from some of what I like to call my personal personally developed interventions in dealing with my clients and some of their maladaptive behaviors and symptomatic behavior that aid in maintaining their problem in their lives. So, we're going to talk about cutting behavior in particular in this video. And it's really important for me that you guys understand that cutting behavior is far more complex than what most people um, believe or have an understanding of. Cutting is often viewed by mental health practitioners, technicians, families, and other close individuals that are closely affected to individuals who are afflicted with cutting urges as a means of gaining attention, or as clinicians may call it, attention seeking. So we have to talk about what the picture looks like for people who cut, but they don't desire to be close to other people. For people who cut and they are looking to avoid being in the limelight, or avoid being, in the presence of other people or being noticed by others, right? So obviously, attention seeking is not always the answer, right? So let's think a little more deep about cutting behavior. Let's talk about maladaptive behavior in general, right? Human beings are shaped in such a way that we are looking for ways to cope with life on a regular basis. This is what we're doing. We're looking for ways to simply exist in this space that we are a part of, and to exist and to be accepted, not just by other people, but by ourselves as well. The way we see ourselves has a lot to do with the way we develop as human beings. So if I am experiencing these urges, these feelings, and these emotions that are associated with past trauma or past events that I've decided to store in the back of my brain, in this dark hole, in this dark place where it can't be accessed by me on a regular basis, consistent basis, or at all, because it does harm to me to even bring up those painful memories, then what I am doing is essentially trying to evade that element of myself because it's not necessarily conducive to my growth, right? However, I'm not thinking ahead because I'm not the clinician, right? I'm just a regular person. Maybe I work at a department store and my specialty is jewelry. And that's what I know. I don't know thoughts, emotions, and feelings in depth, and how to deal with the trauma of my life because I've decided not to see somebody for what I've been through. So in storing these things away, I'm not losing an element of self. I'm burying an element of self. However, there are so many connections to that event that I can't evade it altogether. So essentially, there are going to be small things that remind me of that event over the course of my life. There will be small things that trigger trauma or, really high emotional reactivity, where I feel like I'm in danger, right? Because something associated with that event has been presented to me, some external stimuli that I'm not aware of. And because of it, I feel like the end is near. And then everything else in my life, it begins to trickle, kind of like a downward spiral or domino effect. So as a result, I can't cope. And I have other things that are coming up now as a result of this, my inability to cope and function on a regular basis. And then these things also become tough for me to deal with. Then I resort to cutting because I want it to end. But do I really want it to end? And when I'm done, if someone has found me and I've not succeeded in making it all end, how do I cope with the way people will now look at me, right? So being in that place is really, really tough for people. However, if you can find a way to still have a reaction while you sort out the particulars leading to this stored, hidden away compartment, right? A way to manage the urge to cut without actually doing damage to your physical body. If this was an option for you, wouldn't you want that option? Because now you don't have to worry about people giving you different looks. Instead, what you will see is people praising you for the level of resistance, for your level of self-discipline, for the level of resiliency that you are now building for yourself. So, my experiential approach to cutting behavior, and I have used this and it's been effective with a little bit over 370 people. I'm pretty precise because I have been following this pretty closely. And actually, it has reduced suicidal ideation and suicidal behavior about 90 to 93% the last time I checked. So what happens is, for you clinicians, you know what I'm talking about when I mention DBT. For those of you who are lay people and you don't understand, DBT stands for dialectical behavioral therapy. Behavioral therapies are a form of cognitive-based or mind-based, brain-based therapies that seek to change the way you view or perceive things, life in itself. So your thoughts and your reactions are completely changed because your perspective on things are completely shifted in a way that it allows you to have a more comprehensive outlook on life. So being dialectical in itself means that you are able to accept more than one thought in the same space as possibly being true without one contradicting the other. And this is really necessary if we intend to elevate and expand our capacity to think and be as human beings. So to get back to the theoretical platform of the resolution for cutting, in DBT and in CBT, we may mention the rubber band as an option, right? Every time you think about it, the distraction that redirects your behavior is the rubber band. Normally that does reduce the frequency in which you would think about it or even think to follow through. Eventually the thoughts are sort of eliminated, prevented from coming to consciousness, right? So, in lieu of this, I use marker technique where I introduce a black marker to my clients and a red marker. The red marker is representative of the bleeding that would have taken place had they actually cut. So when you have the urge to cut, in lieu of you using whatever device you use to cut with, I want you to use this red marker. The red marker will symbolize the blood that spills from your veins and arteries in the event of cutting. You can get decorative and do it however you want to, because to be honest with you, the more severe it is, the more we have an in-depth understanding of where you are with your intent when you cut. So the red marker is used to mark, hey, this signifies where I cut. And where the resiliency starts to come into play, it's where you take the black marker or the brown marker, a dark colored marker, to symbolize the stitches that would have been there, or sutures, or staples, or whatever you choose, right? And what they do, these markings on your body serve as a permanent reminder of the resilience that you built over a day, over a lifespan, over however long it is that you're trying to keep track. Oftentimes I've had clients take pictures so that they can save, you know what, in a day I was, urged to cut maybe 20, 30 times, and now I'm down to 5 or 6 times, and now I'm down to none. Thank you for the level of resilience that you built inside of me. And so I have to remind them that I didn't build anything. I only facilitated space for that growth and development, that self-discovery. And that's huge in itself. So what we're doing in the interim, because it can be very, very tough to go through trauma-informed therapy during that time that you're searching through and you're navigating yourself through self-discovery in your past and trauma. The number one thing that you will have is lots of pain that is associated with that trauma resurface. So the idea is not to simply cope, but to heal. So in order to heal, you must reveal all of the elements of the hurt, the pain, anguish, confusion, everything that is associated with it. And once you have revealed that piece and you have come to terms and you've accepted it, it's easy to work through it. So then we start doing the serious work and working through all elements and trying to grasp a full, comprehensive understanding of what these traumatic events mean for us in life. Why it is that we decided to stow it away, and why it's more important that we not stow it away, but we use it as a catharsis for the journey of our healing. So there is a little bit of literature, a couple of workbooks that go along with this process. And if this video has inspired curiosity within you, you can always visit my social media. You can find me anywhere on the internet by using the hashtag DOCLQJ. And also my Facebook is facebook.com. I think it's a /DocLQJ. Or my website will have information on it, and that the website is familialbonds.org. FAMILIALBONDS.org. And there'll be lots of information on there as well. I intend to release the written material that is easier for people to follow, especially practitioners, because we like to read up on things a little bit, do our own self-exploration, kind of tie in theories, etc. But I think it's really important that I share this information, because I realize that a lot of people that have come across my path, and we've discussed some of the techniques and interventions that we use in therapy with our clients, they've been extremely curious about this one. And not only do I want to leave this for you guys, but I would also like to leave this for people out here who are struggling with the urge to cut themselves, and for those people who are associated with them that really don't understand that this is seriously, it's an issue, and it's already an external issue that plagues individuals. And in order for us to be more functional in our everyday lives, and people associated with us to be more functional, we have to embrace the parts of us that make us maladaptive, so that we can correct these things and help us become more functional people and live better lives, okay? So that's pretty much all I've got. If no one has told you as of yet, know that I love you and I value you, and you should do the same too. Later days, folks.